DJing for a crowd of 15 people is a lot harder than DJing for 100 plus people. I can attest to this. That is very true because when you have numbers in your favor, there's more chances of them dancing and liking the song that you're playing. Now, when you have only 15 people or a handful of people, it's a lot harder to please them.
It's like a mini house party.
Yeah. So if you want to keep the dance floor going, you got to be good at reading what they want exactly.
Yeah.
It helps if they're your friends, right?
Yes.
And you know exactly what they want. But it is very true. That,
Definitely.
But whether or not it's 10, 15 people or 1,000 people, you're still giving it your best. That's all that matters.
Welcome to another episode of The Clever DJ with Ilya
and Nino. This one's a special one, right?
Yes, another
It's
special
always
one.
special,
It's
though.
very special though because it is our 6-month anniversary episode. Technically it was on the 1st of June, but
If we're counting with the
weeks.
episodes, the weeks exactly.
this is exactly in the middle,
yes.
right? Because we started January 1st, 2024.
Yeah.
So June 1st would make sense, but the number of the episode, this is episode number 26.
1 to 6.
26. And we just want to make it special. We have a bottle received from a gig. It's a sparkling wine bottle from Francesca Di Lorenzo. She retired. She's a very good teacher. She retired and she just
One of
gave
my
us a bottle.
old clients that retired.
It was your client, yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Francesca. We're balling because of you.
Yes. But honestly, this was in my fridge for like
A year.
a year. It was like in the very back. Wow, you're right. I should have opened it before we started.
You should have opened it. I told you. Come on, man.
Oh.
You could do it.
I can do. Wow, it's really.
It's really on
There's
there.
a knot. There's a knot on here.
Just rip it open.
I don't know if I can.
on.
There we go. I got it.
There you go.
I got it. Did I?
You got it.
Tell them jokes while I'm doing this.
Jokes.
Wow. Okay, so for the ones who are wondering what's happening right now, I'm trying to unwrap the bottle, and the knot is real, so it won't let me do that.
Yeah, I told you to do it before.
You told
bro.
me I should. Apparently, this guy's always right.
I'm
if you
always
listen to previous episodes.
Am I ever wrong? Tell me that.
So today's episode is actually gonna be about, again, stuff we did speak about before. It's not because we are running out of things to talk about. We really
Not
aren't.
at all.
No, we really
we're not.
aren't. But some things we did kind of like just touch up on for like a little bit, or medium, and we really wanted to give you a better episode. And some things are really important. I got it open.
There you go.
Some things are really important, and this is one of those important episodes. And since we have a milestone here right now, we know
6 months.
We got better over time, right? Like it was
You
quite
let us,
the
you let us know.
yeah. Well, the analytics, the statistics show us that you guys are watching a lot more of the episodes.
So
or
I-
now,
I
on
guess we're
social
doing
media.
something right.
Yeah, and
Right?
we're releasing all the episodes on YouTube now, and we're on social media. We have all this stuff going on. So over time, you get better. Now, keeping it within that theme.
Can we just drink?
Okay.
Yeah, let's go. Pump
doing
it.
it.
Pump it. Pump it. Yeah, right.
Yeah, all over our Roadcaster Pro 2. Yeah, so this one is about how to become. Oh, yes.
Or that right over the roadcaster, huh?
Right over the Roadcaster.
Okay.
This is about how to become a better DJ over time. Well, I got some more for you, buddy.
No, it's okay.
I got some more for you. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, that's good. That's good.
So, I got some more for you.
It's okay.
There we go. Oh, wow, that's a good amount.
It is, man. It's perfect. Perfect, right?
Yes. So, let's cheer for our 6 months.
Cheers.
All right, cheers.
Cheers. Cheers, guys.
Cheers, everyone. Wow, that's
Oh,
pretty good.
see?
Yeah.
Sweet.
Thank you. Now, so how to become a better DJ over time, which is very important because a lot of people, and myself included, at some point you reach like a plateau
Yeah.
where you're just comfortable, because some people they have other things going and they're like, you know what, I'm just gonna keep it at this level so I can do other things, and they just don't care to improve. And some people have so much going on that they don't really invest time in the most balanced way. Maybe don't practice as much because they don't have to technically. They're already like at a level where they can do things at a certain level that's acceptable.
So this list is for the ones that want to take it seriously
Yes.
and want to get better. Like
Much
this is
better.
methodically now, this list.
Yeah,
So-
it's a very good list to improve yourself. So the first one makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and it goes without saying, always practice. And the way to do that is to actually practice with the intent of what you want to learn. Like if you're lacking in mixing, practice that, right? If you're lacking in scratching, practice that. And if you want to be a Red Bull 3 style champion, practice your routines, right? So there's just certain things you need to practice. You can't just practice just to practice, right? And you should have like a goal that you want to achieve.
I have a question.
Yeah. You're putting up your hand. Okay, thanks.
Teacher.
Okay, yes.
So,
Yes, student.
so what if you are lacking in the skill of reading a crowd? How do you practice that? Do you just like crash weddings?
Yeah, well, the only is getting in front of a crowd and actually doing it. That's the only way to learn it.
Which is why you said,
Which is why you have to get out there as
And
soon
get
as you can and
gigs.
get gigs as much as you can, as soon as you can.
is this on the list, by the way?
No, it's not.
Okay, so I'm glad I said that.
Yeah.
Get gigs. Go and get gigs.
Yes.
Okay.
And that should be the first one, but I guess yes, it's just a no-brainer sort of thing. But
Yeah.
always practice with the intent. It will help you kind of reach your goals a lot faster.
Yeah.
Right?
What does it mean, learn to listen?
Learn to listen.
Yes.
Oh, we actually skipped.
Yeah, I was gonna cover that later, but fine, we'll do that first. I like how you're
I'm in tune,
following the
man.
list.
I made this list.
So learn your music. That's
your music.
extremely important,
Yes.
and that is going hand in hand with reading the crowd. Because if you read the crowd very well, you know the music. If you know the music, you know the crowd.
Yes, you have to
Right.
learn your music. You have to know your music in and out, so you'll be able to mix it seamlessly. And yeah, there's just so many things that you need to know about the music that you're playing to, right? Playing for the crowd.
Yeah, I'll give you some examples. I moved here 18 years ago soon. In July, it's going to be 18 years. I moved to Canada. Now, I was born in one country, I was raised in another country, and then we moved here. Now, obviously, American, Canadian, English music is all over the world, most countries, right? So the countries I was at was also very influenced by that. But, you look at the, charts in the UK, in Australia, Canada, all those countries that are English-speaking countries, right? US, some songs are very different. So for us, a more European country, that was very different. But still, I listened to, for example, over there, Robbie Williams was huge. Huge.
Robbie
Back
Williams,
in the 90s, early 2000s.
Isn't he from the UK?
Yes.
Yes, right.
So a lot of UK artists, a lot of Latin artists, huge, right? But everyone got a chance there. Everything popular that was popular in the US and in Canada and Australia and UK, especially US and the UK, got a chance. But here's the thing. I did not always listen to that music.
Yes.
So I come here, I have different gaps in my knowledge, and Nino starts teaching me, and he says, "You don't know this song? You want to be a DJ and you don't know this song?" I'm like, I just don't, I heard of it. I don't listen to it. I don't know the lyrics. I don't know who's it by. I don't remember. You have to learn. There's no, I don't care. If you want to be
You want to be a DJ?
mobile DJ,
No ends, ifs, or buts about
you
it.
have to know everything because your crowd.
I actually, that was the first thing I pointed out to you. I see you're gonna have trouble with the music selection and just
Yeah.
choosing or knowing what to play for the crowds.
And now, like what, a year and a half, 2 years later, much easier.
It's getting better. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, definitely not on your level yet, but much better. But yeah, learn your music. Even if you're like a club DJ, right? The EDM also is also very versatile. There's also a lot to know.
Yes.
Know your genre well.
Yes,
Right?
you need to. It doesn't matter how many songs you have, 100,000, 500,000. If you don't know your music, usually the music that you're playing is stuff that you're familiar with, right? You rarely play stuff that you're not familiar with. So
Yeah.
that goes in hand with learning your music.
And it's funny. I'm talking about it like I'm the pro. Like, oh, you gotta do this. But this has been ingrained in me. So I'm speaking from experience. Next, okay, can I say it now?
Yes, you can say it now.
Learn to listen. Take it.
So
I really like this. This is really good.
It is.
I
Man.
like the champagne.
So you can drink while I talk. So learning to listen is just, in general, DJing is all about the sense of hearing, right? So you need to use your ears predominantly, right? Like a lot of new school DJs will be looking at the screen and looking at the waveforms. It's not the way to go. You cannot count on that. There's going to be times where you need to use your ears. So learn to listen. You can listen to your mistakes. You'll be able to hear little nuances of your
Yeah.
mixes, right? So that's what I mean by that.
Can I say,
Yeah, you can. Yes, you can answer.
teacher, sensei, DJ Sensei? Honestly, one of the coolest things I heard while listening, and I know that's not all you're talking about. You just gave examples, but one of the coolest things was when you notice over the loud music, the crowd is singing. It's such a weird frequency that's added. You can tell they're singing. So at first you're like, what is this? Oh, are they singing along?
Yeah, yeah.
And it's so nice. It like fills the frequencies. It's so nice.
And you can tell when when a DJ turns down the volume, right? That's when they know, like, okay, they're singing along. They start turning it down, so it lets the crowd like engage with you.
Such a high, such
a great feeling, yeah.
Especially for a new DJ. I was like, what did I just create that moment?
Yeah, yeah. So another thing with listening to about listening to music, when you listen to music, a lot of DJs will know when something doesn't sound right. Right? They won't know exactly what's wrong, but it just doesn't sound right. It could be melodically off, and that's probably what it is, right? So listen. You need to use your ears when it comes to DJing. It's all about listening.
Yeah,
and
be like
using your
Beyonce and listen.
Yeah.
This is extremely important. So important. Everything is special and important on this podcast. If you didn't notice by now, learn how to beat match by ear.
It's my turn to drink.
Yes. So ever since we started, I started learning with Nino here. He would ingrain in me, and like in my within his teachings, that I have to stop looking at the screen. I remember one of the first lessons. You turned off my screen.
Yeah, I had to like black
You
it out.
covered it.
Yeah.
And he said, just figure it out. And you mixed up the BPMs. If I knew the song, you mixed it up.
Match it with. I played a song on my controller, and then I say, okay, match it with yours. That song that you
And it was
have.
a roller coaster. Like, I got it. Wait, I got it.
I got it.
Because you always get it for the first few seconds and if it's wrong.
and then it goes off. Right. That's why you need to be very precise and to hear it.
Beat matching by ear is so
It's almost
important.
like you have to have your brain. You listen to one song, and the other side is listening to the other song. So you kind of have to match it, put it together.
So confusing because is this beat from this song or that song? And that's when you need to know your music.
Yes, exactly.
You're like, oh yeah, that's the percussion from this song.
You have to know
Or
the
that's
sounds,
the synth from that
of
song.
certain sounds of the certain songs, right?
And it's so confusing because you're hearing an 808. It could be from this one or that one. So you got to know the song very well. And whether it's because the glare is real and you can't see anything on your screen and you just have to mostly rely on your ears, or whether it's because something else went wrong with the gear or whatever it is, or you're using CDJs, right? Am I right? Like it's not as easy to follow what you're looking at because it's
Yeah.
separated with the screens. Am I right
yeah,
about that?
Yeah, separate too.
So more doing stuff by ear. So yeah, that's
That's an
extremely
old
important
school
one.
fundamental learning tool that most DJs will learn. That's the first thing you learn when you DJ. Yes, student.
Yes, I have another question, teacher. Can you tell me? I hope this question makes sense. Can you tell me if you can scratch but not beat, like have the skill of beat matching by ear if you don't have good listening? Does it have to do anything with each other?
Yes, it does. It has to do with timing. So if you can't beat match properly, you're gonna have a hard time scratching it on the right beat.
I thought it was
Right.
more visual because you have that tape and tells you where to,
Yeah, no.
how far you can go.
Yeah, it doesn't work that way.
I mean, I know it has to do with listening, but
It's
is it
all
a
about
lot
listening.
more than I think?
It's a lot more. It's listening and the feel too, right? That's why DJs like to learn how to scratch on turntables because it's all about the feel, the pullback, the torque.
Or your motorized controllers?
Yes, exactly. Same thing.
Did you get that Impulse? Which one is it? T7?
Pulse T7. No, I got it, but I returned it.
Not-
It just wasn't. It wasn't my cup of tea. I had the Rain 1 already, so it doesn't make any sense.
Would you recommend that for a beginner? 'Cause it's
Yeah,
cheaper.
Yeah. It has a lot of good learning tools, right? The beat match function is pretty cool. So it'll actually tell you when to speed up and turn.
Oh, it
slow
has
it
that,
down,
right? Because it's by Hercules. They have
Hercules.
that
They
with a little light.
yeah, with a little light. So it'll tell
green
you
light.
when you're on and when you're off, how much you need. Okay, yeah. So it'll tell you when you're on and you're off, and when to nudge it and stuff.
Yeah, I saw that actually because I was looking into the Impulse 200. Because I'm actually going on vacation for almost a month.
Okay.
And I have a bunch of gigs coming up. And I haven't been doing this for 20 years like you. So I need some practice time. So I'm going to get
It's good, man. You're practicing overseas.
yeah, I'm
Good
going to
job.
get a light laptop, a small light laptop, and a small controller or maybe a micro, the very small controllers. And I saw that on the Impulse and I was like, that seems like a very, I'm not sure how to look at that feature, but you tried it and you
It's a
liked
very
it.
beginner sort of feature.
You needed it, right?
Yeah. I needed it. No, but yeah, it's good. I can see how beginners would flock to that controller. Not just the controller, but the Hercules line itself, right?
Nice. Learn how to phrase mix. Yes.
Phrase mixing is very important.
That's-
It goes hand in hand with beat matching too, as well. Now, if you can phrase mix, it'll just bring you up to that next level. You can literally start mixing acapellas and instrumentals together, doing cool mashups and stuff, right? So if you use that in your performances, it just it raises that bar and it just makes you a better DJ overall.
I got much better with phrase mixing, obviously, because I already have my own gigs. But one of the toughest phrase mix related things for me is, I don't even know how to categorize it, but some songs you're like, it's tough to find the one, or the one doesn't work.
It's not the one thing.
And you just gotta drop it in the middle. For example, the routine I really like, I came up with it. So, no, I didn't. So, when you play Calabria and then Temperature, and there's a special part where it just goes in, you just drop it on that part, right? You know what I'm talking about. That's not a very regular way to mix it. You came up with a really cool routine there.
It's still on the one though, technically.
Yeah, I don't know why I said not on the one. There's the contrast, beginner versus pro. I'm trying to find a way to explain it.
Yeah, well-
you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You've seen those special tracks, especially the hip hop tracks.
Yes.
Where you showed me you got to figure out where to find that spot and just kind of drop it
The
on
exact
that.
spot. Because if you don't drop
Especially
it
if you don't have an intro.
the exact spot that it's supposed to, phrased, it's almost jarring to the audience because it comes at a different time, right? And if you don't mix it at the right point as well,
Yeah.
after the chorus.
What
or
I
something.
find really tough, lots of tracks, especially hip hop, they start by talking or some sort of like intro that you need to have in the mix, because that's where people are going to be like, oh yeah, that track.
Yeah.
But then you can't, because it just doesn't go with anything. So then you find all those like really cool mixing techniques and stuff.
Yeah. You can also use stems.
Yes,
You can stems it, or you can
Now you
just
can do
drop it
that.
right at the beginning, where those, if it's a really popular track and people know it by the, oh, he's talking, whatever, right? So there's certain points that you need to drop it as well, that you should know when to drop it. So
I love my laptop, but I wouldn't trust it too much with stems right now. It's not fast enough.
yes. You have to get a strong
Handle
laptop.
it, but
Can handle it, but there's a limit. You know, it'll usually it will start to slow down and the fan will start kicking in and start getting warmer, getting hotter.
especially if you're outdoors.
Yes, and that's dangerous right there. You're gambling with your gig.
Record your mixes, learn why it sucks or sounds good, and go from there.
Yeah, and it doesn't mean if you're a beginner to just record your mixes. You can record your mixes when you're even like professional, right? There's no time frame for this. There's always room for improvement. You can always hear something if it sounds proper, right? I'm sure you guys are listening to other DJs mixes and what sounds good, and you're like, wow. I'm sure they didn't come up with that on the spot. Well, sometimes they do, right? But a lot of times it's pre-planned already. So yeah, so just record your mixes and know when it sounds good and when it doesn't, right?
Yeah.
So you can fix it.
All right. Music selection is the most important factor in a set, and you would say 80%. That's how important that is, and 20% is just mixing.
Exactly. Do you agree?
Especially after I made a recent contact in the last. Funny enough, I've known her for almost 2 years, or more like I met her about 2 years ago, and then through speaking and also with my girlfriend, we went kind of did a meet and greet and introduced between them. She said, "Wait, is that the same DJ who was pregnant the other, like when I was bartending, and I think I already met you. I
Oh, you
think.
did?
Yeah, I was still trying to juggle bartending and DJing before I left
Oh, so
bartending.
this was a bit like in the beginning.
Yeah,
Okay.
in the beginning, in the beginning,
In the beginning.
that video. So yes." So what I noticed was when she was talking about certain things, I'm like, she sounds familiar. And then my girlfriend said, that was the one who we met a while back, and she was pregnant, and we spoke to her. And I remember trying to kind of befriend her, but she was just not having it back then. And now lately we became like we reconnected through another DJ over a gig that she needed covered last minute, and I learned what type of DJ she is, and I was mesmerized because I don't have that much experience
What
with
type of DJ was she?
I don't know exactly what it's called, but she's using very old school, like kind of like mixer, like a cabin looking like mixer, almost like the ones you use. The phone operator, and you're like trying to connect each other. I've seen those in live gigs a lot, live bands, but she doesn't use a controller or turntables or.
Does she just use like laptops?
She has a laptop.
She has one laptop
She
only?
has. I think she has one potentially. Maybe she has two.
I think she has two. Why would she? She can't switch over songs on just one.
No, because the thing is, she uses, I don't know how she does
software?
it with a mouse or something. Yeah. So she has a karaoke. She has a karaoke business, but she's also a DJ. She does weddings. She's very, very well known in the industry. Like now that I started reading her reviews and asking people about her, like a lot of people know her, and one of your contacts knows her too. He also does karaoke, but her entire business is based on an incredible music selection, musical knowledge,
Yeah.
and reading the crowd very well, along with incredible, astounding MC skills.
Yeah. But she doesn't mix.
She doesn't mix. I don't like. she doesn't do all the like flashy mixes that you do. Like, she doesn't do that.
But she reads the crowd. That's the most important thing.
She finds a way to obviously transition the songs nicely.
Of
but
course.
like basics. But
There are ways to do it, and I know lots of DJs who do that just to play it, but smoothly mix it so it doesn't sound jarring.
and that was by far. I always knew that exists, and that's true. You don't transitions are not the most important part. But that when I met her and when I kind of got like a little refresher on who she was, oh yeah, we met in the past, reading her her reviews, hearing from her clients, I realized like there is no better proof than this person right there, right? That's all she does. She doesn't even use a controller, right? So she's incredible. She's very, very good at what she does.
Yeah,
and there's very minimal transitioning, mixing, all that stuff, right?
There's a lot of DJs like that. There's a lot of DJs, especially karaoke, jock DJs. They have to DJ in between their sets too. So it's just practice for them, and they've been doing it for a long time. So of course they know what the crowd likes, right?
Yeah,
according to what they sing too, right? So
and again, like you can transition lots of songs by emceeing, like saying what's coming up,
exactly,
doing like fun skits in between if that's your thing in the wedding.
Multitude ways of transitioning songs. There's not just one way. There's so
incredible,
many.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yes, 80% I'd say is the most important, just knowing what to play, and then 20% is mixing. Now, if you can do both, hey,
it's a bonus.
It's amazing. Yeah, it's a bonus. Right? It's like icing on the cake sort of thing.
When you squeeze every bit of energy out of the people when you do quick mixing, like literally like every 30 seconds to 45 seconds, you transition the track.
Boom.
Because you go from the best part to the best part, chorus to chorus, chorus to chorus.
Yeah.
Like I'm looking at the people dissipating in front of my eyes. They're just like melting, like while being happy. I've never seen a person squeezed out of their energy at that level. You're very good at it, all right? So, yeah.
Yeah, so that's that.
Keep yourself updated with new, old, like record labels, records to dig into. There's so much great music out there, and if you look hard enough, you'll find that even certain gems.
Yeah, of course. Like
especially on like record pools too. If you have record pools, you can find some things that won't be available forever.
Yeah, and there's different avenues too. You can use Spotify to find new music because Spotify has AI, and it'll help you find music that you're not familiar with, but it kind of relates to what you like. So it's amazing for that, right?
We spoke about it episode 23.
Yes.
Yeah, about Spotify and how they improved their algorithms, and now it's using AI. Yeah.
And
how Spotify DJ.
Yeah, and how DJs, as DJs, we have to keep up with the times, right? Because you never know who you're going to play for, or if you're going to play for like someone like 5 years old to 60, 70 years old. So you have to have that wide range of music and knowledge to be able to play to them.
Yes. Next point is club standard gear doesn't necessarily make you a better DJ. So you wrote in parentheses, the above points make you a better DJ. Mm-hmm. Everything we spoke about until now. And it just helps you be more prepared for the inevitable when you're faced with unfamiliar gear. I want to say something about that right away. When I started, I have the SB2 right there, sitting there, right? Other than the fact that there's a known bug that past version, 1.6 or something, it's just, it spins like crazy, like on the software. So you just use an older version. Other than that, like this controller works. Yeah. I didn't technically need to get another controller, but
I told you
I wanted to.
But of course, yeah.
The one that was teaching me way before I met you, he had the SX2, so I got like the mini version of it, which is the SR2.
SR2, yes.
Yeah. So honestly, I love that controller, but it's time to upgrade soon. I think just because of stamps, man. I want to start using that. But
it's not even the controller though; it's your laptop that you have to upgrade.
I gotta upgrade both because I like how the FLX10 has that specific stem control, but also that's record box. And I prefer Serato. Stop making faces.
You know what I say about that, man. If you don't outgrow your gear and thing, you don't really technically need to. But
Yeah,
you
but
just-
but that's the thing. Like even today, I still want to get new gear, and I'm like, well, you know what? I'll get CDJs or like, it'll help me with clubs and stuff to get into it. While that's true, it will help. It's not absolutely necessary. It's not a must. Very far from a must, right?
yeah, not at all.
And I'll probably get the XZ. That's the closest, like controller wise. Too bad it's so outdated in terms of the screen and stuff.
There's always new controllers coming out, so just wait a couple of months.
I've been waiting. They keep on like releasing stuff like what is it called? Quad something. What was it?
Oh,
I can't
the
believe-
Opus Quad.
Opus Quad. What is that? It's a refrigerator.
It's a spaceship.
Huge. It's a spaceship. It's huge.
Yeah, it's huge.
It's
pretty big.
huge. It's like you're not carrying that anywhere.
It's a luxury controller. It's like the Ferrari of controllers out there.
I saw some of the features.
It's very nice.
incredible. But like, if they could only make, I don't know, maybe I'm just not very aware, but I'm pretty sure I am. If they could, because me and technology, I know technology pretty well. If they could only make the XZ, like the copy of the XZ, just like way better screen, better everything. That's what I want. That's exactly what I want.
Well,
There's
tell-
nothing like that yet.
tell
And I
Pioneer.
want it for Serato as well.
Yeah, tell Pioneer.
They're not going to do it for Serato. It's going to be,
It's gonna be a record box for sure.
maybe it'll be like compatible with Serato,
Yeah.
but not all the features. I wish FLX 10 was like that. I would get it tomorrow if it was. I'd actually get it right now. I'd pause the podcast and go get it right now.
Yeah.
Do you have anything to say about that? I kind of took over.
I already said what I need to say.
Okay.
Like you don't need club gear, but it's nice to know, especially if you're gonna get into clubs, right? That's the whole
How much gear do you have?
too much. Yeah, I've been collecting for the past 10, 15 years.
So you're saying you don't need it, but you have a ton of gear?
Yeah, I guess. Well, as a DJ, it's nice to have gear, but don't do as I say as I do.
Do as I do as I say.
Say as I do. Okay, I can confuse
get it right?
I confuse myself.
Don't do as
well.
I say.
Do.
Do as I do. Is that it?
Don't do as I do.
You confused me now.
Say as I do.
I'm pretty sure that's not it.
Okay.
Try again.
Don't do as I do. Say as I do.
Do as I say, not as I do. I think that's it.
Yeah, do as I say,
There we go.
not as I do. Okay, makes sense.
Right. What'd you write here? Man, you write a lot. You learned from me. Most of the booth monitors in clubs, bars suck. Rely on your own headphones for monitoring, but you should not be locked
Into your headphones
What
too
happened?
much,
My
right?
thing
Because
yeah, there you go.
you don't know. You want to know what's coming out of the main PA, because you never know. Sometimes I catch you like with the high pass filter up, and you're still mixing it. And why is it so thin? It's like
That happened to me. Yes, in the very beginning. I mean, it
especially because
still
you're
happens sometimes.
especially because you're too focused on what's coming out of your headphones.
The worst part was I was practicing before a gig. Wow, it's so good it happened during practice and not during the actual gig. I transitioned the song, but like, and both my headphones are on like this, and I somehow didn't notice that the HPF was all the way up,
Yeah.
and there was zero sound coming out. It's not that it was a little up; there was just no sound. And I'm like, wait,
There's nothing playing.
oh shoot! Imagine during a gig, and you're like,
It happens still. Just mistakes happen during a gig, and so
Yeah.
sometimes it happens to me too. I'm like, don't get
Actually-
so focused.
my new contact now, she stressed how at the bar where she wants me to become like one of the regulars there, she wants me to bring my own gear. I told her, don't worry, you don't have to tell me that. I was going to bring my own gear anyway. And sure enough, one of their speakers just busted.
Also, you have to bring speakers too.
They have, it works. But even the guy who was there the other night, he has the two speakers above, right? They're like lower quality, Edison something. And then he has two of his own speakers. So he has one for monitor behind him, and like an 8-inch, I think, and then one in front of him,
Yeah.
kind of to create that sound. But that's one of the first times I noticed, and she even said that herself. the sound is lacking. And it's because there was no subwoofer.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get a subwoofer.
always-
I have to get one.
Better to have low end than not. Now, if you 90% of times you want that low end. DJs, we want that sub frequencies.
the frequency.
Yeah, it just makes it fuller, right?
Yeah.
It's better to have it than not.
And then you don't push your speakers too much.
Exactly.
So, warming up the room is an important skill. Learn to build your collection of music and to organize it for your gig. And I remember one of the gigs where it's not the only one, but one of the main kind of times where I felt it was where I used to bartend, and sometimes waiter, but mostly I was the head bartender there. And you came to DJ, and I really wanted to do that gig too with you. Remember, where I used to bartend.
Yeah.
So the way you were building it up, you know, like from, you had different names for like your music, right? You had
Yes.
different like categories, and you start all the way from like the lesser known music, and then you go and you build it up towards the bangers.
Yes.
And you said it's not only knowing 500 songs that you should play, you should know them in the right order.
Yeah. And when to play them
Yeah.
and everything, right?
Yeah.
For a lot of stuff like this, like warming up a room, like for certain events, you need to actually put together warm up sets for specific events. Like if you know that it's going to be an EDM night or a hip hop night, you pick the lesser banger songs, right? The more warm up stuff, not the really hardcore stuff, because you don't want to step on the toes of the headliner in that way. Right?
Yeah, that's actually the next point. So the first one is for just the crowd to warm them up. And maybe it's for yourself, right? Maybe it's just the start of the night. But the next point is knowing your place in a time slot. Don't bang out and tire out people before peak hours or the headliner plays. Now, this goes hand in hand with volume control, and it says that you've seen promoters and sound techs gossip, argue over opening DJs who ruined the night because of this.
Yeah.
Tell me about that. Tell us about that.
Literally, one of the opening DJs would just play everything. The promoters would tell them, okay, stick to this type of music and type of theme, right? He just played what he wanted to play. So it really put a damper on the whole night, and the headlining DJ was really, really mad. It's like he wasn't following it. He played a lot of the songs that he was gonna play, so it just doesn't go well over with promoters and just the club owners if you do that.
Really reminds me of what happened at the other place where I told you there was a DJ and a band.
Yeah.
Same thing.
The
DJ just plays whatever he wants, even though the band was like, here's a list of songs we're going to play tonight.
Yeah, because you think about it, the band is very limited. They can only play so much, right? But the DJ can play anything and everything. So he has more choices. So it just looks really bad on you if you don't follow it.
And it's not just like, it's live music and it's kind of requires a different kind of skill. Sometimes the bride and groom only want to hear certain songs live, even though the band can play 20 times 50 more tracks, more songs.
Yeah.
They want this one live. So they're kind of also ruining it for the bride and groom or whoever else is there.
Because sometimes they have a special rendition that the bride and groom wants too as well.
Yeah.
So that's why.
Yeah, that guy lasted a while. I don't know how he lasted so long, but yeah, that's also the event managers, owners issue, like problem too. They need to understand that that's not okay.
Yeah,
and I believe the band complained several times, but nothing was really done about that until he left. He was pretty much let go of, but he did get better opportunities. So yeah,
good for him.
Yeah, he was well connected, but has a really bad attitude, in my opinion.
And when you literally play the bangers right at the beginning, you tend to tire out like the people like on the dance floor too. And I've learned this very, very early in my career that when I like to start off weddings like really high energy, like I want to like start off like right out of the gates, blowing them away, right? But then in the middle, you want to slow it down, right? You can't just keep it up the whole time. Otherwise, you're gonna have a dance floor, and then you're not gonna have a dance floor. They're all gonna be tired, right? And they're gonna leave early.
And there's no way to really know in the beginning how, like, what's going to be kind of like the B-side songs and like which ones are going to be less popular. You kind of play something that's less popular, suddenly they're like jamming to it. You're like, okay, you know what? These 5 songs I was going to play to warm them up, I'm going to leave them for later. It looks like they're loving it.
It all depends.
There's no way to like really prepare all the time.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? Because so it goes hand in hand with
It goes
reading
hand
the
in
crowd.
hand.
Be professional. Show up early if you can. Stay late if you can. Don't be that person who takes a time slot and leaves right after to go to another party, or for whatever reason they're leaving. Most times than not, the party is made up of friends in the industry who all work together one way or another, and it doesn't look too good to leave right after your set unless you actually have to, or you're an international DJ who needs to leave right after to catch the next flight. That's a big,
And we touched on this
asterisk.
already before in another episode, right? Just leaving right after the party after your set. It makes you look antisocial, and there's so many connections in that party. That's one of the reasons why you got that gig in the first place, right? Because you play the same music, you know the DJs and stuff. So mingle, stick around, support, right? That's part of our jobs.
One of the places I was telling you about, this bar that just has CDJs and people go in and practice. Well, it's not absolute beginners usually. They just go in to practice their set before their bigger gig usually. A lot of underground DJs, a lot of people who kind of like no one will really be there to watch unless it's the other DJ who just played or is going to play next.
Yeah.
So you see a lot of them kind of like jamming with them, and they might not even like the music. They're just creating that crowd feel for them.
Vibe, yeah.
Because they know that you need a crowd to play for.
Yeah.
So like that's where you see that camaraderie, like in a place like that, for example.
Yeah.
And you also see the opposite. People who play and just disappear. And you're like,
Yeah.
yeah. So that's a big one. You said more number 14. Which one's number 14? Oh, yeah. Don't show up trashed. Take any gig, small gig or big, as a blessing of an opportunity. Humble and remind yourself why you started this venture in the first place. If you require alcohol or drugs to perform due to social stress as anxiety, then you should seek therapy to help overcome.
Doesn't that make sense?
These rather than substances.
Doesn't that make sense?
It does. I'm reading it for the first time, but it does because, okay, like we're not oblivious, especially this guy. Like a lot of DJs are intoxicated and or on drugs, right? Alcohol or drugs. Mm-hmm. I personally don't know how you do that. Like I cannot focus.
Yeah.
I can't. Like not even alcohol, and like I'll just come out like right here and say I don't do any like hard drugs. I never tried anything like that. I don't want to do that to my brain. I only have one of them. I don't want to have to replace it or need to replace it, and you can't.
Exactly.
I just don't go for that stuff.
Just doesn't go hand in hand. And for those that have to rely on alcohol or drugs to DJ, you have a problem. You have a more underlying problem.
So much fun. The music, the actual craft.
Yeah.
That you don't need anything. Yeah. I'm not oblivious. Obviously, I'm sure it makes it better when you're on drugs, like in some way.
Yeah, but it impairs you in a way. You can't say it doesn't. Right?
Yes.
There's no way.
I mean, I've seen some people who actually become better almost. But imagine how much better they would have been if they could
if they concentrated
yeah,
on it, right?
And
they feel they need to be on something to do this.
It's just there's some people also that smoke, marijuana and they work construction.
Yeah.
Bro, if I smoked marijuana and I had to work construction, there'll be a very bad accident to myself and someone else. I can't focus
exactly
when I'm like that, right? Or drinking. It's just not me, right? Mm-hmm. So definitely don't have that image if you are a normal person in a normal situation. Most people won't appreciate that. What's the next one? Do your research on people you're on the lineup, Bill, with. It doesn't hurt to know more about them.
Of course, you're playing with them side by side. You might as well know what they're all about, what music they play. Obviously, you guys probably play the same kind of music, right? So you guys probably vibe in that way. So just and you probably want to get more gigs like with them. So it just makes sense to do that.
Yeah, lots of times, and the bar that I told you about, people would add each other when they see each other on the lineup, on Instagram, and sometimes they'll be like, "Oh, I think I saw you. Were you the one like last week? And you played this and that, or like you have like the long hair or whatever." And they'll say, "Hey, you want to go to this other spot and practice together? Let's do a back to back." And like you make friends like that too.
That's how you make friends, lifelong friends.
And then, hey, you know what? Like I liked your set when we went and played that same day. Do you want to? My buddy has a gig. Do you want to?
Or I like that remix that you played. Do you think I can get a copy of that or whatever? We can maybe switch songs.
Yeah, that's when you trade.
That's when you trade stuff.
That's awesome.
Right? So you become good friends that way.
Yes, I don't know which one because there's so many. Go out to other people's events, get to know people, join local collectives or groups. Do your best to be a part of the community. Supporting others will usually follow with support for you.
Yeah, if you scratch someone's back, they'll scratch yours, sort of thing, right? It's the same thing what we just talked about.
But one very big thing to say. Actually, I heard this I believe it was on the Passionate DJ podcast. So shout out to you guys. Very good podcast. I started listening to them when I just started DJing a couple of years ago. I believe it was on that one. Yes. And either or you should listen to them. They said, don't burn yourself out. If you're DJing the whole week or like the whole weekend, every weekend, and then people expect you to go to their gigs too. Sometimes you got to think about yourself, your family, your personal connections, like, your personal life. But if you can afford it, don't be lazy. Go and support someone. You'll want someone to support you.
Yeah. Eventually you're gonna need someone to support too as well, right? So
yes, you take that one. I'm talking all the time.
Yeah.
Mistakes.
You can drink. Mistakes happen. And how you fix the mistake really measures how skillful you are. In my opinion, hearing tracks go slightly off beat, then go back on beat, are even better when the needle skips mid mix. It reminds people that you're actually doing something. So it's the live aspect, right? That people will be drawn to. They know you're doing stuff live, especially when they're up close, intimate, and seeing what you're doing live. Yeah. That's the best. There's nothing you cannot hide. You cannot hide. Like if you're just playing a track and playing a mix, no man, they're not going to see what you're doing. And a lot of times there's DJs watching you, right? So the pressure is on.
Yeah, actually, we went to see Andrew Royale, incredible guy, very good producer, DJ, and that was towards like when we just started, hanging out together, like the first 6 to 9 months at least, maybe a year, I don't know, but it was a long time ago. And I remember that there were some quote unquote mistakes. I heard like, what is it called? Like when it's like the beat matching was not
the horse.
Yes,
the laundry, the shoes in the laundry sort of thing.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, I wasn't like, oh, how could he make such a mistake? And instead, I was like, bro, he's
doing it live.
Doing it live because he did some really impressive things, and I was like, that's a recording. That's a mix for sure. And I'm like, no, it's not. I can hear, and there weren't like big mistakes.
People appreciate it more if you do it live, right?
So much better.
Mistakes are it's fine. Everybody's a human. Right?
There were barely mistakes. Like it just you noticed that was live. Maybe you did it on purpose. I don't know.
Maybe
when you think about it, because it was fixed within like
millisecond, right?
Like half a bar. Like it was fixed right away.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's great to do it live, man. So mistakes are not really a bad thing.
Yeah.
It shows what kind. It shows the crowd that you're doing it live.
Remember the
no. That's Let's not bring that back. No. Okay,
Yeah.
so here's another one. DJing for a crowd of 15 people is a lot harder than DJing for 100 plus people. I can attest to this. That is very true, because when you have numbers in your favor, there's more
opportunity.
chances of them dancing and liking the song that you're playing. Now, when you have only 15 people or a handful of people, it's a lot harder to please them.
It's like a mini house party.
Yeah. So if you want to keep the dance floor going, you got to be good at reading what they want exactly.
Yeah.
It helps if they're your friends, right?
Yes.
And you know exactly what they want. But it is very true. That,
Definitely.
But whether or not it's 10, 15 people or 1,000 people, you're still giving it your best. That's all that matters.
What's the last point here? Last one, guys.
Last one, learn to find inspiration from other DJs and artists, but don't bite their routines, styles, and pawn it off as your own.
Who does that?
You know, honestly, a lot of DJs do it. And you know
I
what?
did that.
It's
I
a-
like your routine.
I
That
know
one
you do.
routine. That one. You showed it to me and you told me I could use it. So
It's okay. You know what? It's a form of flattery if you copy a DJ. It's cool if you ask them if you're can I use this, but sometimes it can
it's
go-
almost like copyrighted, even though it's not. It's a
Yeah.
It's an unwritten rule.
It is. It's like a rule for DJs. Like, don't bite it. Like, you can do something similar and put your own twist to it, but if you bite it totally, it's like, oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a form of flattery, but at the same time, it can bite you in the butt.
Exactly.
All right, guys, that's it then for this episode.
All right, that's it. We are celebrating our 6-month anniversary to the podcast. Yeah. Thank you very much. And join another Clever DJ episode on our podcast next week, Canada Day. Yeah.
Yeah.